What's good, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. Once again, back with another preview for the NFL in week number 5. Let's go ahead and take a trip to Seattle first. The Rams and Seahawks are going at it tonight. This is going to be a tale of two offenses because the Rams gave up 55 points to the Buccaneers last week, which goes to show their defense is starting to fall apart. And even though the Seahawks had been, they fought a cupcake team in the Arizona Cardinals last week, beat them 27-10. They still gave up a lot of points to teams such as the Saints, so I'm going to say that defense is probably not stellar either. I'm going to look for a high-scoring game in this one. Expect both offenses to come out gunning from the start. Really, both teams are 3-1, so it's pretty much a toss-up as far as a pick goes. But, folks, expect a lot of scoring in this one. Expect a close game, at least. And then, of course, going on to Sunday, taking a trip to Carolina, the Jaguars and Panthers are going to go at it. The Jaguars, even though they did win their last game, it's been a little bit of a tumultuous one for them because there was the fall of Nick Foles, but then the rise of Gardner Minshew, who's only getting the hype because he's a 6th-round pick, which is the same round in the draft that Tom Brady was picked. And because of that, they're giving him all the hype because he's 6th round and he's having success. You know how this one goes, folks. So don't have any wild expectations here. This should be a good matchup, at least good and competitive on the offensive end. As far as the defenses go, the Panthers defense has held up at least enough to give rookie Kyle Allen some good games. Did kind of fall a little bit flat in their last one, but I expect a close one here. This is another toss-up. Both teams are 2-2, so your guess is just as good as mine. And then we are going to move on to Tennessee, where the Titans are facing the 3-1 Bills, fresh off their first L of the season, being brought to them by the New England Patriots. Expect the Buffalo Bills to come out with a vengeance in this one. That offense and defense is pissed off they didn't get it done against their rivals, the Patriots. The Titans are going to be a sacrificial lamb here. Even though they are 2-2, they're not totally bad, but you could see that team is going to fade down the stretch. So the Bills are probably going to come out with a vengeance here. The Titans will put up a decent fight at least to make it a good game. But yeah, expect the Bills to take a revenge one here. But you never know. And then, of course, we're going to one of our biggest rivalry games of the whole weekend, the Ravens and Steelers in the Steel City, Pittsburgh. This is going to be interesting because for the first time in quite a while, Joe Flacco and Ben Roethlisberger will not be going one-on-one in this rivalry. It'll be Lamar Jackson versus Mason Rudolph, of all people. The Steelers are banged up. They don't have anybody good on offense other than Juju Smith-Schuster, not to mention the fact that their defense is not too stellar either. Even though they did get a bunch of turnovers against the 49ers, that offense is god-awful to the point where they just gassed out and quit, and that defense just didn't care anymore. As for the Ravens, they got beaten by the Kansas City Chiefs in a close game, but they got skull-dragged and beaten apart and picked apart by the Browns last week. I expect them to come out with a vengeance in this game, but that defense, believe it or not, for the Ravens is actually a weak point for the first time in a long time. It's very concerning. That offense can score, but the defense has been complete trash so far. So I expect both these offenses to come out scoring. Not too much defense in this. Probably going to come down to a field goal. The Ravens might steal one on the road because at home they just had their heart broken. So you never know. But the Ravens are likely the better team on paper, just because the Steelers don't have their quarterback and they don't have anybody else other than Juju Smith-Schuster because James Conner is now hurt as well. And then from there we move on to Cincinnati, where this is going to be a clash of two bum teams. The Cardinals are dreadful at 0-3-1. They haven't even won a game yet this year. They have a tie against the Detroit Lions, but they haven't won anything yet. And the Bengals are also winless at 0-4. Essentially a battle of the lowest low in terms of the NFL. Probably not going to be a lot of good offense. Not a lot of good defense either. Probably some ugly football being played in Cincinnati this weekend. I would say flip a coin, and whichever side it lands on, pick that team, because these two are going to suck. Texans are going down in Houston. This is going to be quite interesting because Houston is 2-2 this year, while Atlanta has fallen to 1-3. Atlanta Usually they play better on the road because they're actually in front of home fans because they're actually in front of a bigger crowd, I should say, because at home nobody shows up for them. Every game for them is a road game, but whenever they are not in that depressing Georgia Dome or the new Georgia Stadium, I should say, they seem to do decent. But I expect the Texans to take this one though. That offense is too good, and I think the defense is going to show up. But at least with Matt Ryan, he'll make it he'll make it a little interesting shootout. But defensive wise, I don't think the Falcons have enough to stop them. But you never know. Buccaneers and Saints going down in New Orleans. This is a nice little divisional matchup right here. Well, I don't even know about divisional, but this is more of a like a nice little clash of styles right here. You have a high-powered offense in New Orleans where they like to run and gun down the field. Drew Brees likes to throw deep passes. Unfortunately, Drew Brees will be out for this game due to injury, so Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to be a game manager yet again. And against a team like the Buccaneers, it should be easy. Even though the Buccaneers put up 55 points against a shot Rams defense, I don't think the defense in New Orleans will be as shot, but crazier things have happened, especially whenever those two teams play each other on the road. It'll be quite interesting to watch. Tampa Bay coming in 2-2, New Orleans at 3-1. And from there, we go on to New Jersey. Well, New York, New Jersey, as the New York Giants are facing off against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are not good right now. This is not where they want to be. This is not ideal for them. This is probably even though they are 2-2, there's a lot of panic in Minnesota because that offense is not looking good under Kirk Cousins. Both wide receivers, Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, have called out Kirk Cousins. And even teammates have gone after Stephon Diggs and saying that his commitment with the team is not there. Everybody's just pretty frustrated on that offensive side of the ball. And I think because of that, the Giants are probably going to create some turnovers, which might give Daniel Jones some more opportunities to score and put up points and have one hell of a stellar rookie season. Now, crazier things have happened. The Giants have only looked successful against terrible teams, but this Vikings team is not looking too hot right now, so I think they could steal one at home. Even though the Giants are at home, it would be considered an upset if they do win. So, maybe upset alert right here. I would keep my eye on this game. From there, we are going to go to the Bay. We're going to go out to Oakland, baby, out to the Bay Area, where the Raiders and the Bears are going to go at it in Oakland. This is a good one. The Bears come in 3-1, but they're going to the black hole. They're going to the Raider Stadium this time, man. And what's crazy about this is, even though the Raiders will no longer have Vontaze Burfict, they still have a decent enough team on defense to where they can contain the Bears' offense. And I'm not sure Mitchell Trubisky will be starting for the Bears, and if that's the case, I expect the Raiders to pick apart Chase Daniels, and quite frankly, the game's going to lean all on that Raiders offense. How many points can they put up? How much of a margin can they make it? Because if the Bears are in a tight defensive battle, they can pull off a win at the last minute. So it all rests on the Raiders to come out strong, put points up on the board, put your foot on their neck by halftime, and you should be fine. If it's a close game, I'd be a bit nervous if I was a Raiders fan. Either way, should be a great game. Oakland coming in 2-2, Chicago coming in 3-1. I like that battle right there. And from there, going on to the last 1 o'clock game, and surprisingly, there's only 2 4 o'clock games this week. The Jets and Eagles. The Jets are trash at 0-3. The Eagles are 2-2, still banged up. I would pick the Eagles here, no question about it. The Jets offer no sort of resistance or challenge in any way, shape, or form. I expect this to be ugly, and I expect it to be a great win for the Philadelphia Eagles. And from there, we go to our first 4 o'clock game, the Broncos and the Chargers. What's good about this, a nice little divisional matchup. The Chargers are coming in at 2-2. Denver at 0-4. Denver has looked terrible on both sides of the ball. Joe Flacco looks old, washed up, and just straight up flat. Nothing elite about that guy whatsoever. And it shows. And as for the Chargers, well, the Chargers need a win. They're 2-2, but usually they need a strong start in order to be convincing for the rest of the season. So I expect them to skull drag the Broncos with this one because the Broncos don't offer up any sort of threat whatsoever. And, of course, the premier 4 o'clock game, Packers and Cowboys. Very good game right here. Undefeated Packers team. Cowboys team coming off a fresh L to the Saints. I think because the Cowboys are at home, they're going to come back with a vengeance, but they have a tough task in Aaron Rodgers and that high-powered Packers offense, as well as that Packers defense, which is actually pretty solid this year, one of the best, not just in the NFC, but in the league so far, only 4 games down into the season. I expect a close game between these two teams. You can flip a coin and either one will be good, but if there's a team that could take, would take away that undefeated record from the Packers, it is the Cowboys. There are plenty of teams that can do it, like the Chiefs, and even a team like the Patriots, but the Cowboys are certainly on that list. So, folks, watch this one if you can. And then, of course, our Sunday night game, Chiefs and Colts. The Colts are now starting to look like the scrub team they were meant to be as soon as Andrew Luck retired. I don't have high hopes for their squad at this point of the year. They are an average team at best, but average is not going to get it done against a team like the Chiefs. I expect the Chiefs to light it up at home on Sunday night, put up a lot of points on the board, maybe hit 40, maybe even hit 50, because that Colts defense is going to be winded trying to chase all those weapons that Patrick Mahomes has at his arsenal. And then, of course, Monday Night Football. This is another good matchup. The final undefeated team, the San Francisco 49ers, are going one-on-one with the Cleveland Browns. And quite frankly, this is going to be quite interesting. The Browns and 49ers actually have, both teams actually have decent records. The 49ers are undefeated. The Browns currently stand at, 2-2. So, again, another good team, another solid team. 49ers had a bit of a break, bit of a bye week. They are still undefeated. That's going to be a very good Monday night game. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Baker Mayfield. Both teams have good enough offenses to where they're going to put up a lot of points. It's all going to come down to the defense on this. Probably going to give the slight edge. A slight edge maybe to Cleveland, but the 49ers defense has actually been looking pretty fresh for Richard Sherman at the lead of that they could actually make this quite a close ball game. So really flip a coin. Either pick is fine. And if you all noticed, I skipped a game on the schedule. And if you guessed the Patriots versus the Redskins, you would be correct. And there's a reason for that. I mean, New England is 4-0. The Redskins are 0-4. The Redskins have offered nothing. They don't even know which quarterback they're going to use. They don't know if they're going to use Dwayne Haskins at the start or if they're going to go back to Case Keenum. And on top of that, there's rumors that head coach Jay Gruden could be fired by the end of this weekend. And let's be honest, if he were to pull off some sort of a crazy miracle win against the Patriots, it would be the biggest upset of the weekend, bar none. And it's possible, never say never in sports, but I mean, if you want to talk about a big lopsided game here, this is not even a trash game. This is just going to be a one sacrificial lamb being sacrificed to, the fucking overlord of football. This is going to get ugly. And mind you, this is in Washington, D.C., so every single fan in Washington, D.C. is going to be subjected to their team getting skull-dragged, curb stomped, and just straight up disrespected by that team from Boston. Because those Patriots are going to come up. They're not going to play any games. Even those fans are going to travel well. And they're going to make it as embarrassing as possible for the Redskins. Jay Gruden is going to get shamed at home. Bill Belichick is going to stare right at him and is like, I'm going to have so much fun humiliating this clown. Honestly, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say the Redskins put up 10 points in garbage time. Garbage time, for those that don't know, is usually the final minute of a game where the game is way out of reach, but the players on the losing team still put in an effort to score a touchdown or score a point, But yeah, this is going to be as ugly as it looks on paper. There's a reason I skipped it, and it's because, this is the sacrificial lamb game of the week. And if I'm wrong, I will make a separate video dedicated to the Redskins about how I was incredibly wrong about their failure. But they're playing the Patriots, and they haven't even won a fucking game this year. So Redskins, this is probably gonna be the ugliest game on your schedule. If you're a fan of them, if you're a diehard fan, I feel bad for you. And I probably suggest that you don't watch this because it might get ugly. Well, there is no might. It will get ugly. But all I can tell you is Redskins fans, it's going to be okay. Because after you get through this traumatic game right here, you have a whole schedule worth of games that you could be angry and stressed about. This one, don't even bother because I don't even think the team's going to show up because they want Jay Gruden gone. So I expect maybe 50, 60 points to be put up on the Redskins. Probably going to be the ugliest beating of the year. But nonetheless, folks, that is week number 5 in the NFL. This is the preview. Let me know who your teams are. Let me know who your picks are in the comments. And I'm going to see you after all the games conclude. I usually wait until after the Monday night game to give the wrap-up. So expect it on Tuesday. And folks, enjoy the games this weekend. Enjoy the big game tonight. And I will see you next week.